Today I'm going to share with you the 5 best ways to make money as a solo player in GTA Online. In the number 5 spot we have the Acid Lab. In order to get the Acid Lab, you'll first have to complete the 6 First Dose mission storyline, but once you've done that, you can then purchase it from Mutt at the Freak Shop for $750,000. The way the business works is you either purchase or steal supplies, and over time those supplies then get turned into product, which you could later sell for a profit. The process of supplies turning into product is done for you in the background, so this business is really easy to run. All you have to do is make sure to resupply and then do a final sell mission. Now, in order to make the most amount of money with the Acid Lab, you'll also have to get the equipment upgrade for the business, which will require you to do 10 Fooligan missions. Once you have the Acid Lab and the equipment upgrade, you can then buy supplies from Mutt for $60,000 each time. 1.6 batches of supplies will completely fill up the Acid Lab in about 4 hours time, and a full Acid Lab will sell for $335,000 in an invite-only session, but if you sell it in a public lobby with 20 or more people, you will get a 50% high demand bonus, which will take the sale up to over $500,000, which means in the end, you're making roughly $100,000 per hour with the business as a solo player, and that makes it one of the easiest ways to make money in the game, considering all you have to do is buy the supplies and then do the final sell mission. Now, selling product in a public session might seem a bit daunting as a solo player, but you will only ever have one sell vehicle for the Acid Lab sell missions, and because you could do the sell mission as a CEO, it means you could also use Ghost Organization, which should help you out every single time. So it's because the Acid Lab can make you 100k per hour as a solo player with very little effort that it's the number 5 spot on this list. In the number 4 spot, we have the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid, and this is an insane money method because level 1 players or level 1000 players can all do it and make the same amount of money. In order to access the raid, all you have to do is be in an online session and wait for a call from Vincent. Once you get the call, you could then head over to this yellow V on the map and start up the raid. The Cluckin Bell Farm Raid is like a standard heist where you have 5 setup missions and 1 finale, and in total it pays out $500,000 and only takes about 45 minutes to an hour to complete, depending on what vehicles you have at your disposal and how good at the game you are. Now, the raid does have a 48-minute cooldown before you could do it again, but considering the fact that you don't have to pay for any business or anything to get it started, and it's a pure guaranteed $500,000 every single time, the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid is one of the best money methods they've ever added to GTA Online, and that's why it's in the number 4 spot. Next up, in the number 3 spot, we have the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions. This money method was just added into the game in the last GTA Online update, and although it was slept on in the very beginning, now that we've had a couple weeks to play it and realize how good it actually is, it's easily in the top 3 money methods in the entire game. Now, in order to do the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions, you have to have the Mackenzie Field hangar, but once you have the hangar, you could then start the missions, and it's very similar to the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid, where you have a handful of setup missions and 1 finale mission. The missions take about an hour to an hour and a half to complete as a solo player, and in the end you will get paid $750,000 when doing it on hard mode. Now, in order to unlock hard mode, you'll have to complete the missions on normal mode the first time through, but every time after that you could then choose hard mode, which will pay out $750,000 at base every single time. Now, because the missions are relatively new, I'm sure we haven't found every shortcut or every efficiency for completing them yet, but I will leave a guide to TGG's video in the description down below, going over the fastest way to do the missions, and once you've done it a couple times, you could easily get it done in an hour as a solo player. Now, the missions do have a similar cooldown time to the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid, but once again, because you can make $750,000 of pure profit for roughly an hour to an hour and 15 minutes of work as a solo player, the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions have to be the number 3 money method in the game right now for solo players. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have the Dr. Dre Contract. Now, in order to access the Dr. Dre Contract, you have to have the agency and have completed 1 security contract, but once you do, you could then get into it, and it's essentially a large heist. You have 3 mini heists and 2 finale missions. It takes about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half to complete as a solo player, and in the end, you get paid a total of $1.1 million. Now, the Dr. Dre contract does have a cooldown of about 48 minutes, but because you get paid over $1 million, the Dre contract just has to be a top 2 money method in the entire game. And because it's been out for many years, there are tons of different shortcuts that we know of that make completing the contract in about an hour and 15 minutes every single time very reasonable. And so because the Dre contract makes about $250,000 more in almost the same amount of time as the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions, that it has to be one level higher on this list in the number 2 spot. And with that, it is now time for the number 1 spot, but before we get into it, I just want to give one honorable mention, and that is the Nightclub. The Nightclub, similar to the Acid Lab, is one of the best passive income businesses in the entire game because it allows you to make money in the background while you do other things in GTA Online. There are 2 ways to make money with the business, with the first one being the Nightclub wall save. Every in-game day or 48 minutes, a set amount of money will be deposited into the Nightclub wall save depending on how much Nightclub popularity you have. The max amount of money that could be deposited into the wall save is $50,000 if you have maxed out or near maxed out popularity, but maintaining popularity is very easy, so that's an easy $50K you could make every hour. The other way to make money with the Nightclub is through the Nightclub warehouse, and the way it works is you have up to 5 technicians that you could hire and assign to source 5 different kinds of products, which you could later sell for a profit. If you have all 5 technicians and have assigned them to cargo and shipments, sporting goods, South American imports, pharmaceutical research, and cash creation, as well as having the equipment upgrade for the Nightclub, the technicians in the Nightclub warehouse will source $50,000 worth of product every single hour, meaning with the Nightclub warehouse and wall save combined, the Nightclub can make you as a solo player $100K per hour for very little effort put in. It's certainly a top money method in the game, and I thought it would be a crime if I left it out of this video, but it doesn't get into the top 5 because it costs a lot to set it up. Anyways, that is all for the honorable mention. Let's now move into the number 1 spot, which is the Cayo Perico heist. In order to do the heist, you first have to have the Kasaka submarine, but once you have it, you can then start it up. And the way the heist works is you essentially sneak onto a private island, take loot from around the island, as well as a primary target in a central compound. And if you can escape the island successfully, you can make anywhere between $800,000 all the way up to $1.5 million profit in 45 minutes to an hour. Once again, I will leave a link to my guide in the description down below showing you how to complete it in 45 to 50 minutes every single time as a solo player. But because the Cayo Perico heist makes about $1 million on average and takes about an hour to complete on average, it is by far the easiest, fastest, and best way to make money in the entire game as a solo player. Now, there is a 2.5 hour cooldown if you're completing it as a solo player, but in the meantime, you could then go and do all the other money methods on this list to make the max amount of money every single hour and every single day as a solo player. But with that being said, that is the current top 5 ways to make money as a solo player in 2025. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.